Baker, California, September 21st, 2013. To say the least, Ryan was definitely a young man that set out to do whatever he desired. He didn't seem to be afraid of anything, and he would take the risks. Ryan, at 21 years old, would leave Georgia and head to New York City to pursue his modeling dreams. Iris Flowers, his mother, was probably his #1 fan and the proudest. She would follow his model ventures on social media. Ryan Singleton was a go-getter. He did it. He was walking down the runway in New York. His mother described his gold shorts he was modeling. But this was his dream. Though he was far away from home, she worried. But he had worked so hard to get to where he was now. There was even talks about Ryan wanting to be a Hollywood actor. Ryan left for Los Angeles with brighter stars in his eyes. Him and his friends rented a U-Haul and would drive from New York City to LA. He was so young, I bet he could have done it all if something or someone hadn't taken away his chance. While logged on to Facebook, his mother saw something she didn't see before, something her and her son had never even spoke about before. He'd gotten married. Iris had no idea who this man was her son married. He was way older than her son. Iris hadn't even known her son was gay. The man Ryan married was a celebrity stylist, Keith Brewster, and they lived in New York together. Needless to say, within 4 months, the marriage was over. They were separated, and Ryan was back in Georgia with his mother. I am sure Ryan spoke with his mother about his extremely short marriage, about him not even telling her that he was even gay, but one conversation sticks out the most in Iris's mind. Ryan said, quote, "Something bad is going to happen to me, isn't it?" Unquote. Ryan asked him, what was he talking about? She asked him, did he owe anyone money? He responded, no. He did say he had did a lot of things to hurt a lot of people. Iris never asked her son to elaborate on what he was talking about. She may beat herself in the head, wishing she had now. Ryan had changed the subject. She figured maybe it was because he hadn't kept in touch with her while he was out chasing his dreams, that he hid his sexuality, or maybe it was his failed marriage. Maybe he thought that it was his fault, or the fact that he left his friends that he was supposed to be involved in a production team with. She figured maybe it was a little of everything, but her son was back at home. Ryan had even discussed perhaps becoming a football player for the Arizona Cardinals previously. All a mother could do is be supportive. A few days later, after the conversation that sticks out in her mind, Ryan was gone yet again. He was on his way back to LA, only for a weekend trip. Ryan then rented a car and drove from LA to Las Vegas. While driving to Las Vegas, his rental would break down in Death Valley. Ryan was picked up by a California Highway Patrol walking. Explaining his rental had broken down, he was driven to the gas station in Baker. There he called a friend. A friend agreed to drive from Los Angeles to pick him up. He also had called his mother and asked her to send him his $100 bill he kept in his room for emergencies via Western Union. He also called several other friends, and one friend did send $60. It is stated that he never picked up the $100 that his mother sent Western Union. When his friend arrived after a 3-hour drive, Ryan wasn't there. The friend would then fill out a missing persons report. Iris would get a call from Ryan's estranged husband. He explained Ryan had called and sounded drunk. The husband felt that his life was in danger. It wasn't elaborated on why he felt this way, but that's what's known. He felt that Ryan's life was in danger. And it was. It would take 74 days, and his body was found by 2 men in the area. The Mojave Desert, 2 miles away from the gas station that Ryan was dropped off at. Ryan's body was found literally feet away from where people were. Nobody heard or saw or smelled a decomposing body. Ryan's body was examined by a deputy coroner. He was clothed. He had on black faded high-top shoes, black socks, black shorts. He had no shirt on. Brian was missing his shirt. Where was his shirt? He had a rubble orange bracelet on that said, "Try Camp 2013" etched on it. His body weighed nearly 50 pounds. It was skeletonized. The coroner said his face was extremely dehydrated. The body had missing flesh. The tattoos that Iris had described wasn't even on his remains. Several bones were missing from his ribs. The coroner said it was due to animal activity. Some are not so sure it was animal activity. Ryan's organs had been missing: his eyes, his lungs, his liver, his kidneys, his heart, missing. This was not animal activity. To even think your child is found, and your child is found deceased, and his vital organs are missing, that's a different kind of heartbreak no one ever wants to experience. The human body on a whole is worth $45 million, says medicaltranscripts.com. On an average, it's worth $550,000 for a human body. The autopsy reports say that there was a hemorrhage on the left side of his skull. He would have to be struck to receive a hemorrhage on his head, or he would have to have fell so violently that he struck his own hemorrhage in his head. The body was too badly decomposed to determine the cause of death. Ryan's estranged spouse had even said he didn't die in the desert. He didn't just walk in the desert, drop, and die. He believes he was brought there after he was murdered. Ryan was waiting on a friend to pick him up. Who brought him there? But more importantly, who left him there? It's been almost 8 years, and Ryan's mother still is searching for answers of what happened to her son. The one that left with stars in his eyes until someone literally took those stars away. And no one knows anything.